Hello, we're back. Sorry, it's been a while. My cosplay project ended up flatlining because I didn't have enough fabric for it. So yes, I am working on another bigger project, but I wanted to take a break from that to do this because it's something that's been on my mind for a while of doing. I think it should be just like a 1 or 2 day project so that you guys will have a video this weekend, hopefully. And quite honestly, Ren Fair stuff is totally on my brain right now because what I'm actually working on is my current Ren Fair outfit, which these shoes have nothing to do with. Also, I am a hot mess today because it's really hot. But yeah, so what are we doing? I'm going to turn these shoes into some really fun, what I would call like Woodland Witch, Fey Witch style shoes. And these are like the perfect shoes to do this with. Now, a little backstory on these shoes. They're Elle's, which I got from Amazon. Not too bad. It was like $30 some. They were meant to be my shoes I was going to wear for my Victorian clothing, but quite honestly, they're just too much. This part here is just, it's too witch, and I ended up getting a different pair, which quite honestly I just like so much more. But they're not uncomfortable shoes, and I don't want to waste them, and I absolutely adore the heel. And yeah, they're very pointy, but like I said, that's perfect for witch. It's just they're a bit boring right now. So I thought, let's make them fun. So let's talk about some of the stuff I have that I will be using to attempt to zhuzh them up. So I have some fun moss. I have an assortment of flora. This is the only thing I have at the house, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not too big. We'll see. Mostly I wanted to stick with leaves. I have a couple that are just green, but I know it's weird because it's not autumn, but I have like an arrangement of autumny ones, but I really wanted some color on it, so we got that. Other than that, I have some clay foam because I'm thinking I might put mushrooms on them, just a few. I have to be careful because we don't want anything sticking out too much. That will just fall off. This, of course, would be the reason if it takes a few days because this needs at least 1 day to dry. Other than that, I have some regular foam, just some regular 2mm foam, because I actually want to make some fun bark detailing on like the upper portion. Yeah. I don't really have a concept design that I've drawn or anything for this. It's just more like I saw some pictures and I was inspired, and I know like kind of Woodland Witch, Woodland Fairy is pretty cool, and I will definitely have to design an outfit around these shoes once I get these finished. So let's jump over to a different view and I guess get started. Do you have to have cat butt on television? So the first thing I do is I get my craft foam, and I'm just sort of roughly sketching out how big I want my pieces of bark to be. This is really only kind of specific for around where the zipper is going to be at. And then I just start kind of tearing at it to make it look a bit more organic and random. After that, I'm using my wood carving tool to burn in grooves. You should do this outside, and you should have a respirator on, which I did, just for the record. And I even used it to burn some holes into it too, so that's cool, detailing. Once you get all of that detail done, I just primed it with Flex Bond, which is great for UVA foam and, well, yeah, just any kind of craft foam. It's really awesome. It's probably my favorite primer. And once that is all done, I use my contact cement to glue them to my boots, and this seemed to work really well. It seems to be staying. It's the usual jazz with contact cement. Put them on both pieces, wait till it gets tacky, almost dry, and bada bing, bada boom. One thing you do have to be careful of is like the lacing. I thought it was kind of cute because what I did is punched a hole through some of my foam area so that you could just go over the lacing like that. Here's how they look with all the wood pieces. And it's time for the painting. I basically just do a base brown, and after that I weather it with black, watered down black, and that gives it a nice tone. I think, oh that's right, I like dry brush it with a nice like mossy green, which I think kind of ties it in later when I put the moss on it. But yeah, you can really do whatever. This is just literally what I did. I also wasn't very careful about getting the paint on the boots because I knew I would be going back over it. Well, I knew it would be covered, so. I also decided to paint the whole boot in that light green because I realized if I put like my moss over the black would show through, and this just kind of helped give me that base to put my moss on. Here I am weathering it. I can't recommend this enough. It is a really great way to make your details pop in any of your foam work. And it's kind of fun. Alright, so here's how the shoes have turned out. So yeah, the reason I decided to color the black portion just in a very light coat of this sort of green is so I don't have to worry too much about when I'm covering it with moss. Like, it'll kind of give a background for the moss, but the weathering has just made this look so awesome. Like, look at that. It's really just brought out all of the details in the carvings I did. So now that all the painting's over with, it's time for the fun part, which is adding our foliage, adding our moss, potentially some flowers, and just generally just having a totally 100% creative moment. I don't know. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do. I'm gonna I'm going to jump back over to having it film downward again, so we can do all the decorating. I really feel like there's no right or wrong to this process. If you do intend to make your own, just do what you think looks good and have fun doing it. The main thing to keep in mind is layering. That's why I started with the bark first. Then I'm layering leaves around the top, and then the base will mostly be moss. And I'll put a few like other details on top of the moss and such. Other than that, it's just purely fun, creative, and yeah, if you're gonna do it, just have a blast. Although I do realize that these boots are coming off more autumn in color, but hey, Forest Witch is in the forest all the times of the year, so yeah.